Transportation is so superb.
The level of accommodation is better.
Very close to the Prophet Mosque.
I felt I should still be here to still worship more.
The changes have been so magnificent, so incredible.
Medina was a wonderful experience.
They exceeded our expectation.
For me, the Hajj saving scheme is something which we must start.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Welcome to another edition of the program As You Answer the Call. I am Binta Magaji. The fight to stop the spread of coronavirus is a collective responsibility. Let's be conscious of all precautionary measures to stay safe. Now to the program. On Tuesday, the 9th of June 2020, NAHCON Chairman Alhaji Zikrullah Kule Hassan briefed the National Assembly House Committee on Pilgrims Affairs on the Commission's preparations for 2020 Hajj. This is against the backdrop of the challenges being faced as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and many more. Details of this in our Spotlight segment. Also in the program, we have other regular segments such as the NAHCON News Diary, which features the activities of NAHCON Chairman, key functionaries of the Commission and other stakeholders. These are more shortly. Stay with us. Thanks for being there. We begin the program with the news diary. Leading on the lineup is a report on the visit of NAHCON top management led by its chairman, Alhaji Zikrullah Kule Hassan, to the office of the chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Adamu Muhammad Bulkachwa. The chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Alhaji Zikrullah Kule Hassan, led the commission's top management to a meeting with the chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, Senator Adamu Muhammad Bulkachwa. The meeting, which took place at Senator Bulkachwa's office, was part of NAHCON's series of consultations with relevant stakeholders on the 2020 Hajj, which is being threatened by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We will not make any decision without getting your clearance. Then, of course, we also need to get the approval of the presidency. And then we'll then where we stand.
NAHCON is expected to meet with other stakeholders for wider consultation on this year's Hajj. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, is enlisting the support of the National Information for Technology Development Agency, NITDA, to transform NAHCON to a digitally driven commission. NAHCON chairman Alhaji Zikrullah Kule Hassan stated this at a meeting with NITDA officials, which took place recently at the conference hall of Hajj House in Abuja. Alhaji Zikrullah said the commission is determined to improve its operations through the use of technology.
When you use technology, you are sure that you are going to get better results. The likelihood is that you are going to get results cheaper and faster.
The NAHCON strategic plans on digital transformation, which will be implemented between 2020 and 2024, is targeted to achieve, among other things, reduction in the cost of Hajj, as well as the time spent in Saudi Arabia by Nigerian pilgrims after Hajj. The plan also seeks to improve NAHCON's operational efficiency, increase its revenue base, as well as transform pilgrims' experience.
Everything that is here is actually going to be driven by IT.
While making a presentation, a director at NITDA, Lukman Lamid, highlighted the advantages associated with the digital transformation.
The second aspect, which is the value proposition, is enabling NAHCON's capabilities. That capabilities, we're now looking at improve NAHCON's operational efficiency. So that operational efficiency, everything that is here is actually going to be driven by IT. So number one is to improve NAHCON's operational efficiency, and the second one is to increase revenue.
Towards actualizing this objective, NAHCON has constituted an ad hoc committee that will interface with NITDA officials to design modalities on the project. NAHCON's Commissioner of Planning, Research, Information, Statistics and Library Services, Sheikh Suleiman Momo, chairs the committee. The committee has 2 months within which to submit its report. In the meantime, NAHCON Ad Hoc Committee on Digital Transformation has had its first sitting at the conference hall of Hajj House. Addressing members, Chairman of the committee and NAHCON's Commissioner of Planning, Research, Information, Statistics and Library Services, Sheikh Suleiman Momo, urged them to discharge the responsibility reposed on them diligently.
While we hope to have it executed in our time, we will also, posterity will also have to reckon with us if we were part of those who succeeded in coming up with a plan, an holistic plan that will completely transform the Commission.
Members at the maiden meeting of the committee deliberated on NAHCON's activities that are ICT-driven and also identified key stakeholders of the Commission whose activities will be included in the digital transformation drive at NAHCON. The digital transformation exercise is being carried out in line with the provisions of NAHCON Act. Alhamdulillah, if you're just tuning in, the program is As You Answer the Call, a public enlightenment presentation on the activities of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON. As uncertainties hover around the 2020 Hajj, and with some countries already announcing their withdrawal from participating until 2021, Nigeria is yet to take a decision. The Commission intends to do so when Saudi authorities make their position on the matter known. While this is being awaited, the leadership of NAHCON, led by its chairman Alhaji Zikrullah Kule Hassan, was at the House of Representatives to brief the House Committee on Pilgrims Affairs on the state of affairs pertaining to the conduct of the 2020 Hajj. Details of what transpired in our Spotlight segment. Stay tuned, don't go away.
لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك.
In the last couple of weeks, the leadership of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, has been reaching out to critical stakeholders to discuss the prospects of the 2020 Hajj in the light of the possible effect of the COVID-19 pandemic on the world's biggest annual religious gathering. In continuation of these high-level consultations, NAHCON leadership, led by its chairman, Alhaji Zikrullah Kunle Hassan, was at the National Assembly Complex on Tuesday, the 9th of June 2020. It met with the House Committee on Pilgrims Affairs to discuss the Commission's preparations for 2020 Hajj amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as other challenges being faced as a result of the impact of the virus.
Status of 2020 Hajj operations as well as any special matter or challenges.
Honorable Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba is the chairman of the committee. After welcoming the NAHCON's officials, he then explained the rationale behind the interface between the lawmakers and the Commission.
To know the status of implementation of 2020 calendar of events in view of the recent development of COVID-19. Status of 2020 Hajj operations as well as any special matter or challenges being encountered by the Commission. An update on the screening exercise of air carriers and cargoes company and any other issues of importance. Information received through this brief will no doubt improve the committee's knowledge of the Commission's activities, status of 2020 Hajj exercise, area of challenges, and the legislative intervention where necessary.
We have had interaction with the airlines.
Making his presentation, NAHCON chairman Alhaji Zikrullah Kule Hassan said before the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, the Commission had gone far with preparations for the 2020 Hajj, but noted that with the way things are going, the Hajj, as it were, is enveloped in uncertainty.
We as a Commission, before the entry of COVID-19, we have done a lot of arrangements toward the Hajj for this year. But the truth is that today, as I speak to you, is 52 days to the real Hajj. What we regard as a real Hajj is a day called the day of Arafah. It does not mean that we should leave Nigeria in 52 days, but the day of Hajj is today is 52 days. Prior to that, we have had a lot of memorandum of understanding with the major service providers, accommodations. We have actually distributed allocation to different states, and they have been collecting money from their would-be programs. I must say that even up till this afternoon, we are being in constant touch with the relevant authority in Saudi Arabia as to whether Hajj will hold or not. But the truth is that there is no official confirmation from all the people who have spoken with.
The protocol of COVID-19, particularly that of social distancing, will affect the Hajj plans, says the NAHCON boss.
If the protocol for COVID-19, as we know, is to hold, what presently exists in our mechanism of Hajj fair will certainly not hold. For instance, the average occupants of rooms are 4 in a room. If social distancing is to be followed, the maximum would be minimum of 2. I say the minimum of 2 because if 2 meters were to be followed, maybe in some cases it would be 1 in a room. So who pays the difference?
The chairman also identified in his presentation the delivery of pilgrims' suitcases and the operation of airliners as major challenges that may stall the Hajj in the present circumstances.
In the matter of suitcases, again, the suitcases we use for reason of cost and easiness, not by us, by the companies that supplies usually produced in China and move into Nigeria, but now by the law of the country is regarded as a contraband. If it is to be delivered direct to Saudi Arabia for the pilgrims, it means the supplier will have to source for foreign exchange at the parallel market. This will also increase the cost of Hajj. We have had interaction with the airlines, and we have determined at the Commission what airline we are going to use for the operation. But as we speak, we know that because of the global aviation shutdown, many of the aircraft have been grounded for months. If they are to be deployed for Hajj, there will be the need for various checks to ascertain their safety, and this will be subject to approval by the relevant authorities.
In addition to this, the chairman also talked about the following: Medina and Mecca accommodation, stay at Arafah, Muna, and Muzdalifah, known as Mashair, and the Saudi increase of VAT from 5% to 15%.
The Medina accommodation in Saudi Arabia, we already secured 13,575 bed spaces. But for anybody familiar with Hajj operations, the idea is to use the bed spaces in rotation between pilgrims of states. So the more rotations that we are able to go through, the lesser it will be eventually for the total pilgrims. Usually we expect that pilgrims will spend an average of 8 days on his bed and then give room to other pilgrims to come while they are on their way to Mecca. If the number of pilgrims is reduced, that means the rotation even in Medina will be smaller and therefore push up the price of Medina accommodation. As for Meccan accommodation, 22 states accommodation have been inspected and approved by the Commission, but the agreement is yet to be signed, again because of these things I've stated earlier on. Because of the financial crunch as a result of COVID-19 and the dwindling oil prices, the Saudi government has reviewed VAT from 5% to 15%. This will take effect in 1st of July. This, of course, will boomerang and affect the cost of livelihood, goods and services in the kingdom, therefore making this year Hajj an expensive venture to an average Nigerian.
Other issues covered by the presentation include catering services, local transportation in Saudi Arabia, and medical arrangements.
We have selected caterers, but again, we have not consummated any contract with them because of this uncertainty I've earlier on highlighted. For the local transportation in Saudi Arabia, we have signed with the transportation company known as Half-Field Transportation, and we have actually given bank guarantee for physical distancing in the vehicle. The various taxes may well likely affect the arrangement which we have undergone before. As we speak, the medical arrangements, we have not yet secured any clinic in Mecca. We have not bought any drugs and medical consumable. We have not selected medical team.
The NAHCON chairman told the lawmakers that the commission will in 2 weeks' time take a decision on the prospect of the 2020 Hajj, whether or not the Saudi government makes its official position known on the matter.
The commission, however, is already in consultation with various stakeholders with a view to arrive at a decision that will be in the best interest of the Muslim community and the nation in general. We think that if by 23rd of June, which is 14 days away, if in 2 weeks' time Saudi Arabia failed to issue a clearance on the possibility or otherwise of hosting 2020 Hajj, the best thing is to get Nigerian to forget this year's Hajj.
Is there not under this
The chairman's presentation generated comments, observations, and questions from the lawmakers.
that the commission during Hajj operation, they use mostly foreign airlines, and all over the world, Hajj operations, most countries use their local airlines. Is there not under this period that people need to change it so that we use more of local airlines than the foreign airlines?
In this matter of Hajj, Nigerian interests should come first. At the appropriate time, if and when Hajj will hold, we'll give you a comprehensive report, which in our view will be scientific enough, and you have enough information that could determine what will be your judgment. But as we speak, we have not appointed any airline.
With this, the hearing was adjourned. In an interview, the chairman of the committee, Honorable Abubakar Hassan Nalaraba, explained more about their next action, calling on intending pilgrims to pray for a quick solution to the COVID-19 pandemic.
So what we are going to do is to continue to support the chairman legislative-wise. If there's anything that is facing as challenges in terms of the airliner, in terms of the medical team, and then the BTAs, will be able to support him.
Apart from meeting the lawmakers, the leadership of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, is also meeting other relevant stakeholders on the 2020 Hajj, now under threat by the COVID-19 pandemic.
You are still watching as you answer the call. Coming up next is Making the Hajj.
The spread of the COVID-19 around the world has prompted the Saudi government to take a second look at the possibility of the 2020 Hajj taking place. Infectious diseases, crises, and other natural causes had at various times in history led to the suspension of Hajj or Umrah. How is this action seen by Islam?
A Muslim may have a good intention.
On Making the Hajj tonight, Imam Tajuddin Muhammad Bello Adigun answers these and other questions. He begins by explaining what Hajj is all about to the Muslims.
Hajj is pilgrimage where one will leave his country, or even if that person is in Saudi Arabia, to have intention of performing one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which Allah has commanded by doing the tawaf and the sa'i and the arafah with good intention. Allah has mentioned Hajj in the Quran, and He has mentioned the nature of doing the Hajj. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ also has mentioned it, and he has also demonstrated it.
From a historical perspective, what are those situations that can cause Hajj to be put on hold?
A disease called al-mashari, which affected the camels. You know, that time there was no craft of traveling. People travel by camel, by horses, by trekking. So that sickness basically affected the camels. In fact, it was said that that also destructed the Hajj of that year. That is 357 Hijrah. Also, in the year, just very close here, 1830, we are now in 2020. In 1830 also, there was a disease from Hind that also affected 3/4 of the pilgrims, and that also distracted an act of performing Hajj in that year.
What is the interpretation of Islam when Muslims find themselves in crisis situation during the Hajj period?
A Muslim may have a good intention which circumstance cannot warrant him to establish and to execute that intention, and Allah will give him reward. So people should not mind not going if circumstance warrant that. Their reward is going to be what? Intact.
When the Hajj is suspended or allowed to hold, but with some conditions, how should pilgrims conduct themselves?
If there are some changes based on this circumstance, maybe at the screening spot to know those who are healthy and those who are affected, please cooperate with them. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. Cooperate with them in righteousness, because that is what they're supposed to do. If they say, please, so doors, don't enter through it, enter through this. That's why we have the screening machine. Please don't go against it. If they say, look, when we are going to this place, it should be so time, no so time. Please take precaution, because they are in authority, they are in power. They are the ones to be asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us obey them as much as possible.
Imam Tajuddin Muhammad Bello Adigun urged Muslims to pray for Allah's intervention on COVID-19 pandemic and any other disease. He also urged them to make efforts to seek more knowledge about Hajj and other related matters.
MashaAllah, up next is the quiz. Welcome to the quiz segment. The question in the last episode was, at what point in the course of performing the tawaf are pilgrims expected to recite Rabbana Atina fi dunya hasnatan wa fil akhirati hasnatan wa qina azaban nar? The correct answer is at the point of Ruknul Yamani. The winner is Adebisi Abdul Fatai from Eden North, Osun State. He provided the answer ahead of others. Adebisi Abdul Fatai will be contacted on how NAHCON will reach him with the prize he won. A quiz winner will get 25,000 Naira cash prize. This is part of NAHCON's effort in social investment in Nigeria. Previous winners whose names have been announced but are yet to receive the prizes should reach us through this number showing on your screen. Now to the quiz for this week. The question is, what major Hajj history is associated with Masjid Nimra? I repeat, what major Hajj history is associated with Masjid Nimra? Text your answer to the number showing on your screen. The winner will be the first person whose correct answer is received. All answers should carry the name and location of sender. Good luck and happy viewing. Good luck once again. Before we round off the program, we take some messages from our viewers. The first message came from Adeyemi Abdulaziz from Sangota, Ogun State. The message reads, Salamu alaikum. I just want to thank NAHCON for this program. Keep it up. Abdul Jalil from Osun State sent in the second message. It reads, this program educates us a lot. We are benefiting from it. May Allah guide and lead us to the right things. Our last message for today came from GSM number 0814-572-6188. The message says, your program as you answer the call is educative. I appreciate NAHCON for it. You too can send a message through our mobile number and other social media platforms. Remember, you can stop the spread of coronavirus by complying with all preventive measures. Let's support our governments in the fight against coronavirus. That's it on this edition of the program as you answer the call. Join me same time next week for another package. Good night and thanks for watching.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك